So the latest thing we see is Bitcoin to $1.5 million, thanks to our good friend Cathie Wood at ARK Invest. Today, I want to show you why this is absolutely garbage. It will not happen to the time period that she is saying. I want to show you why. I am bullish on the markets. I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I'm bullish on the NASDAQ. I'm bullish on the stock markets. And I've been showing you this since the bottoms of the market with particular reasons why. We've looked at time cycles, we've looked at day counts, we've looked at price ranges and price targets and cycles dating back over 100 years. So much data to tell us that these were the bottoms and that the markets will go up. But when we hear Bitcoin will hit $1 million by 2030, let's just put that bullshit aside and get on with the job at hand of being real investors in the market. All right, guys, hit that like and subscribe button. You know that this is your home of macro cycle analysis, where we cover the stock markets, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, commodities, and of course the real estate cycle. This is our edge. We have patience, we have the real estate cycle, and we understand that time is the most important aspect of the game, not price targets. And you've come to know me as, I guess, your channel to keep things sane. Even though I am bullish, I still keep things relatively sane. You let me know in the comments down below, just like you did with yesterday's video, where we looked at how 90% of strategists, analysts, funds, you name it, are wrong in the markets, and they'll continue to be wrong looking at this. All right, let's get on with the video and enjoy today as we put on our holiday shirts and get in the mood for summer. Okay, so Cathie Wood has said she believes it's going to hit 1.5 million by 2030, and the bottom target as well is around $625,000. Now, that's what she said. I can't find it in this particular article here, but that's her calls. The top end 1.5 million, the bottom end 625,000. This is absolute bullshit. I just want to call it out as it is. Yes, I know people are going to get triggered by that. And who am I? Some guy in a holiday t-shirt in a villa here in Bali while Cathie Wood is sitting in her office. Nothing against Cathie Wood. I actually like what she does, but these calls are absolutely stupid. And like we covered, when it comes to analyst expectations, they are more often wrong than they are correct. And we just want to be on the side of the trend. We don't need these stupid targets. I know the media wants targets and they get headlines. I will use it all day, every day in titles because that's what people want to hear. But if you don't want to get wrecked in the market, then don't follow this bullshit. It's that simple, really. Looking at this with the proof, as I said, probably in the title somewhere, ARK Invest is Cathie Wood's baby, right? It's one of her ETFs, looking at the tech sector. This is her performance so far. You just have to dig tiny little bit and you can see the performance. The Coinbase is one of the stocks in her portfolio. Now, you can do this across everything if you want, but you don't have time for me to go through every single video or every single trade of hers like this, but you can watch it on the channel here, video by video, every single day. We pull apart the macro cycle and just look at the BS that goes on out there. It's absolutely incredible. So once you can do this, then that's how things become so much easier and you're able to forecast what's going to happen as opposed to just believe the BS. So Coinbase in her ETF, that's an investment. They have an average price of about $280. So this is Coinbase here, and I found that data in one of their articles here. Coinbase, their funds are $240 for this ARK FinTech Innovation, the ETF. They've got more Coinbase in their other ETFs. And in one of these articles, it shows you their average price here was between 273 and 283, so call it about 280. Doesn't really matter. The point is, that's where they bought, that's where they sold. They sold at the bottom. Then you had some good BlackRock good news. It drops again to new lows, and ARK sells again here at about $80 or $90. So they've made some money. They did buy some a little lower here, I think around $50. They sold at about 90, but their average price is still way above 200. Like this is the type of people that we're taking big calls from. Absolutely ridiculous. This is no better than really any sort of altcoin degen trader or investor out there. So that's all I'm getting at here. I don't need to bang on about it. I don't hate Cathie Wood whatsoever. I just think they have some of the worst calls in the game. Their ETFs have done incredibly well when tech is booming, and tech will boom again. They just need to understand the timing. Buy low, sell high. They have Tesla. They made huge gains, but then they followed it all the way back down. Sold some as the market went down. They just need to buy low and sell high. It's not that difficult, as we've been covering here on the channel. So I'm not going to toot my horn anymore. Let's have a look at what's happening in the markets and just to decipher some of the BS calls out there as well. If you want me to do more of these, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know by hitting the like and subscribing to the channel as well. That like also helps, more importantly, as most people watching are subscribed now. Thank you very much for that. So that's Cathie Wood in a nutshell at this point in time. As I said, don't hate them, all that sort of stuff. Now, the NASDAQ, it is up again. People are waiting for this pullback, right? And I've got my tweet here to show you that this is a disbelief rally. It's confirmed. People are in such disbelief, it's suckers, it's going to fall. You hear it day in, day out. They think we've been in complacency. They've been so wrong. It's incredible. That has just shown the market has gone haywire, and it's now 5.5% below its all-time high. It's in the realm of going to a new all-time high sometime in 2023, maybe early 2024, something like that. This market will hit a new all-time high. This is the NASDAQ 100. As I said, 5.5% from the top, and it is 552 days at a new fresh high. So the last time this closing price was reached was back in January 2022, which was the month for the S&P, the all-time high, but of course the all-time high for the NASDAQ was November of 2021. So we'll get to the stock market as well, to the S&P 500. But how is this continuing to pump? Well, your biggest companies are pumping. Your shit coins, or your shit stocks, are also pumping. Microsoft, new, fresh, all-time high. Back of the news is they're getting on board with the AI hype. And the AI hype is here to stay for this piece of the cycle. This is in play. You can see it with NVIDIA as it pumped from $300 to $400, and this has continued to go, putting in massive gaps along the way. And we know that gaps are huge areas of strength or weakness. If the gap is not filled, it is extra strength to the upside. Most or some people think that the gaps have to be filled, and maybe in time they'll be filled. Maybe in several years, once NVIDIA pumps and pumps and pumps to who knows where, then you get the mega collapse, like what happened in the dot-com bubble. Maybe this is the AI bubble, but it has started, and it looks like we've got a lot further to go, especially when we time in the cycle. And this is all moving towards Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin is also going to get that move to the upside along with cryptos, and we'll have some huge gains coming up over the next couple of years. So let's keep tracking what's going on in the stock markets. NVIDIA, new fresh highs again, or in the last 2 days, and today was a new fresh highest closing price in history. You've got Apple sitting at new all-time highs and just consolidating. Look at that, testing the old tops and pushing higher again. It is at near fresh new highest closing prices of all time. You have Facebook pumping and pumping, nearly closing that entire gap of that terrible drop that it had in January 2022 when the stock price just absolutely collapsed like 25%. And of course, we looked at NVIDIA. You've also got some banks that are moving up to fresh highs, taking out their 50% levels. And of course, Google as well, above its 50% level, testing it and putting in new fresh highs. So it's all coming back, new fresh all-time highs. This is, of course, flowing on into the market for that extra strength that many investors have been waiting for. Now onto Bitcoin. Nothing's happening here. We're sitting around $30,000. The moves are so small that any sort of move to the downside of 0.3% like we had 2 days ago, or yesterday we had 0.95%, and now we sit at $30,020. This is making a lot of investors fearful, because you typically have a lot of new people in the market and they haven't seen any sort of cycle before. They have no idea about the emotions that come into play. Plus, they don't have a steady plan, like a structured plan that they can fall back on in times of uncertainty. When you get this grinding to the side, grinding sideways, or even grinding down a little, and then maybe a little flush to the downside, that's short term. My thesis has not changed. The macro picture has not changed. We have higher lows, higher highs, and the market just needs some time to digest that move that came from the 15th, that low, when we talked about it on the channel here, looking at that low here, the pump up, that low formed at the previous tops, so a test of those previous highs. You had a mid-month turn, so it was the 15th. You go back, you can see we've had so many mid-month turns along the way. It's uncanny how it continues to play out time and time again. We even had a mid-month turn again on the 13th of July. That was the peak there, and we've come down. Mid-month turns. Who knows why? It just continues to happen. Okay, so this is another little key thing here for BTC that I wanted to bring up to show that maybe we're coming to the time that we'll get that pump. We've looked at weeks in terms of the rallies themselves, and we had that one pump up week, 19th of June, and many were looking for a significant correction straight away. And I said, you're not going to get a significant correction after just 1 week, because it has not happened even through the bear market. You did not have one pump up week and then a correction in a bear market, and we're not in a bear market anymore. So that's why I said we're not going to get a correction after that first week. Now we've just been flat since that time. I thought maybe we'd at least test that 31.5, 32K, but it is a really strong level. And eventually when we do break that, you're probably not going to see this level again, 24,800. I'm waiting for that 32 to break. This level will be safe, I believe, from that point. This level is safe now, 19,500. We're not going to see 19,500 in this cycle again. And basically, we're looking now for more consolidation for the move up. Now, in terms of the chart that I have down here, which is telling us that maybe we're getting to that point of another move, a significant move, could be down. We're hoping it's up, but it could be down, is the average true range. So the idea here is that the market typically quietens down after a significant move. So those trading ranges become smaller because the market needs to digest that move. And even though you have a significant move to the downside, like we had to the end of the bull market, end of the bear market, sorry, in 2018, doesn't mean we have to continue to collapse. All that happens is the price hits a low point. There's the average true range, somewhere around there. And then it needs to digest it. And this average true range continues to drop because the range of the move is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then you get the low of the ATR, average true range. Then you get the pump, and that's pretty much the bottom of the range. You're not going to see trading ranges as small as what they were post the cycle low. There's your cycle low. There is the decreasing price ranges, and there is the decreasing true ranges that leads to a bottom. So what does that all got to do with what's coming next? Well, we're getting close to those levels again. It doesn't mean that we can't break it, because this time has been rather short compared to the previous time. But you look at the low here around November. This one went $100 lower. This had the lowest close of the week before. So basically around these levels right here at $3,000 to $3,200 for a range of a weekly bar. Then it kept going lower to a low of $2,200 for the range of a weekly bar. That was through this period here. And then you see the pump up and the move starts to get higher. So you start to see the average range pick up with moves to the upside and moves to the downside, because it's basically just measuring the range of, in this case, we're looking at the week here, the weekly bar. And so we've seen it die off again because we had that grind through April, May, and to the first half of June. And we're seeing that grind again for these 4 weeks here. This is really starting to drop off. So we've come in to the similar sort of area that we saw during that first pump up. So we're coming back to basically test some levels of previous resistance and support. So maybe this is around the time that we start to see a move on in the range again. We've gone with very, very small tight ranges for a number of weeks. We're getting close to this level again. If it's going to repeat similar to what happened last time, cycle low comes in, then the average true range cycle low comes in. Maybe we're heading through that again, and we should see a bottoming pattern form here before we get a significant move, hopefully to the upside, which is what we've been looking for here on the channel. Of course, we can see it to the downside and then a move up, but I don't see it going below 19.5K. Maybe it tests that 24.8, but I don't think so at this stage because we still have the 50% level to contend with, and that level is at 28,300. So maybe we do get a quick, swifty move down and up. Essentially, all that has to happen here is that the next weekly bar, maybe it's this weekly bar, needs to be bigger because we are starting to get very, very tight on those price trading ranges. So there's going to be some sort of volatile move coming up based on what we've seen in the past. It's happened before in the previous cycle. You get to that bottom and you get the move up. It's happened in the cycle before that. Here is your cycle low. Dies off. It's digesting that move with the trading ranges becoming smaller. Then you get the pump up, the higher low, the next higher low, higher low, higher low. And so basically the market doesn't come back to this point once it reaches its bottom. And you'll continue to see those ranges increase on the way up into that new bull market. You can see it happen again in the previous bull market. We'll make this bigger. There is your low, which was April, higher low, more lows, similar. It did go slightly lower, but as soon as it did, look at that move to the upside. You don't want to miss out on those moves. And basically that's the retail bull market kicking into full swing. So are we likely to see this thing come up again and start to give us bigger trading ranges? Let me know in the comment section down below. Guys, don't forget we've got our free weekly, bi-weekly crypto and economic report coming out. Link is in the top of the video description. We've covered this before. I've got more fear and greed to get through as we start to reset the emotions and the market sentiment coming up. And of course, I did mention the S&P 500, which is similar to what's going on in the NASDAQ at the moment, sitting at a beautiful 45.86, nearly hitting 4,600 points, which is only, think about this, about 200 points from the all-time high and 4.6% away from a new all-time high. All right, guys, thanks very much for your attention once again. Let's continue to stay up to date. I think we've got a significant move coming up just based on what we've seen in history, especially with the average true range here. Have a great day. Don't get sucked into the BS about $1.5 million cryptos, Bitcoins, or $625,000 Bitcoin. I think we're going to be lucky if we see six figures between that 100 and 200K range this cycle. Let's keep it nice and easy. See you at the next one. Till then, peace out.